It's Dahlia. Congratulations on your new show. I know how you get, so don't be too rough on them. Love you and good luck. Bye.
Love you too, Monkey. Welcome to the Raw Perspective with your host, the incomparable Uncle Laze, aka Laze Elliott, aka Lazy Laze from the world famous, kicking with you in topics about health, politics, music, art, culture, and now for your host, the legendary Uncle Laze. Hey yo, what's up, y'all? Yo, Laze, it's rock. Oh, yo, get in there and tell the people what it is, man. Let them know what this thing is all about. Come on, man. Information.
I want to give y'all the information. This is your boy Uncle Laze in the Raw Perspective. This is our Friday show. This is my day show. We're going to have a great time. Shout out to my whole OSG First Family and my MOP First Family. Salute, salute. I want to thank you guys for joining us in the Raw Perspective today. And we are on StreamYard, on YouTube Live, as well as the Raw Perspective on Facebook Live. So make sure you go and check it out. Start your watch parties. Let's have a good time. Let's get right to it. Let's bring up my man, a.k.a. Shock Bean, my man, 35 plus, Ray Abram. I'm going to bring Ray Abram tonight. We can get this thing started.
Right. Hey, what's up, Laze? How you feeling?
What's happening? Hey, man, we're expanding our audience, as you can see.
Yes, I see. Big time.
Person with technical expertise, you understand all of the components and the, behind the scenes work that has to go. Shout out to my StreamYard people. They're doing a great job. You know what I mean?
Yes.
How you doing, Ray? How was your week, bro?
Oh man, it was a good week, man. Good week, man. Atlanta's been good. Yeah, life's good. No complaints, man. No complaints. Everybody's
it'll be all right regardless.
Yeah.
Well, listen, before we get anywhere, I gotta bring my sister in. I gotta bring the Bean in. Yes, y'all. Lord of mercy. All the way from Yard by the Boogie Down Bronx. She's my sister, Tanya Hazelhurst Dawkins, host of Fresh Start.
Hey, hi guys.
Yeah, good to see you.
10 a.m. WRB Media. Did I get it right yet? Almost.
DRB. Is that
yeah, something like that. And I listen to it, DRB too. That's in my car. I just bought a new car, and it's in my car. I'm listening to it. I programmed it so I can listen to your show. By the way, Tanya, I heard you had a really nice show last Saturday, a two-parter with Ask Dr. Riley, huh?
Yes, it was excellent, actually. And even this one coming up is awesome. I'm looking forward to to everyone getting to hear what she has to say. The show with Dr. Riley this weekend on Fresh Start Focus says the topic of the show is back to school, being a principal in a pandemic. So she, she shares about her personal experience and what she's going through being a principal in New York City, which was a hot spot, for COVID, and dealing with the bureaucracy and the rules that are coming down to help them open school and to deal with this first semester going forward. So, yes.
That's a lot. Let me tell you something, T. I want to say this. Always shout out to my OSG crew, first of all. And yesterday, we do our Thursday. We do meetings all week, but our Thursday meeting is the meetup where we release. Shout out to my brother, Easy Breezy, Dennis McKinney, the visionary extraordinaire of the OSG movement. Shout out to my brother, James Dash, the eye in the sky I called. He became a part of the movement, and he ain't never left. Somebody's got some noise in their background. Do you have a television or something playing somewhere? I'm hearing something in somebody's background.
I have a fan here, and maybe I'll turn that off. Maybe it's the fan. I don't know. I'll just.
It's like radio or something going on. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I want to say this. Yesterday we had a great time, Ray, and I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. Yesterday we had Dr. Chris Pinnell. Nice. And Chris Pinnell, she's part of Yahweh. Shout out to Bishop Pinnell out in Newark. She's a head administrator. Dr. Pinnell is the head administrator at the hospital in Newark. And she actually is one of the people who are part of the COVID experiment, where they're experimenting with her, the vaccine. So I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. It was an amazing, situation, and we talked about it, and she was really very insightful. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can bring her on here one of these weeks. And let me tell you, she's a dynamo. She's a sister. She's a soldier. Right after she left, she went out and protested this Breonna Taylor situation, and we're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. I don't want to say too much on controversy because I got a nice show tonight. We're going to have some fun, but I got to make some things happen. So I want to just shout out Dr. Chris Pinnell. She's a joke. Follow her, the good Dr. Chris. She's on Instagram, and she is sharp as a bat. And follow Bishop Pinnell as well, and also follow Leo Colon. I mean, these are some amazing people that I am such a blessed person to be able to have amazing people such as yourself, and also these incredible people. And she comes on CNN all the time, and she is definitely a voice for our people. So follow the good doctor. Now let's get to it. Breonna Taylor. Ray, so you saw the grand jury come down and give that man a wacky, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. But I look at the bigger picture, right? I mean, we need a federal ban. That's what I've been advocating, a federal ban on no-knock warrants. Like, we had a situation here in Atlanta, just the same way. They bust in on a 85-year-old lady and actually shot her to death. She pulled out her pistol and they shot her to death. And it happens all over the country. It's hundreds of these Breonna Taylors all over the country. Accidental, wrong address, bad information. You bust in and start shooting. We got to get rid of no-knock warrants. I know
I also think it's a lack of regard for Black life. I don't want to get past this point. Lack of regard.
It is a lack of regard.
They indicted him on a 2-class felony for shooting through a wall. They actually are giving a wall more than the Black life. And let me just say this to you. I had a conversation the other day. Recently with some brother, very nice people. They're on Facebook, white guys, Trump supporters. I don't have a problem with a Trump supporter in the sense that I don't support Trump. You could believe what you want to believe as long as we can have a rational conversation. Now, what they were saying in the conversation was she may have had a history dealing with her boyfriend who was a drug dealer. That's what they're saying. But let me just say this to you.
Yeah.
At what point do police become judge, jury, and executioner? Obviously, she had left the guy. She was on her own life, doing her own thing. They came in. If this was the military, the Army, or the Marines, the Marines would have been. The Army. You'd have been in Leavenworth. You'd have had to go to court. Because the rules of engagement are very strict. If you're a civilian.
Yeah.
This country, and I even did a scenario this week on the Raw Perspective, the Morning Yawnings, where I played out this. I acted out the scenario where 5 Black cops lived in a white town, and they were part of a SWAT team. They were all Black, and they ran in, and there was a woman and her husband, 2 white people, and the husband shot at the guys because they broke into the house, and they fired back and killed his wife. Yeah. And I said, what would have happened to those Black?
Yeah.
Tanya,
and even better, if I could, I just want to give one more example. Out in California, this actually happened in California, where the white lady was killed by the Black cop, and he's in jail today.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, he's in jail today for the same situation, and that lady didn't even shoot at him. She just ran. She ran out. And he thought whatever, and he shot her, and he got a murder case. And so you're absolutely right, Laze. I think that we have to, we have to have things be more equal. But
today we're having the Trump conversation, Ray. But let me just say this to you: this is why we have to vote him out, because Trump is empowering those people. He's empowering. And listen, the Attorney General. So he was a Black guy, but let's get past this. He's married to a family member of Mitch McConnell. Come on.
Who is?
The Attorney General in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He's married to McConnell's niece.
Daniel Cameron. His name is Daniel Cameron, right?
Yeah, I get it.
He's married to Cameron's niece. So at this point, what we're saying is they're not playing by any rules. We've gone past it, and they're making these speeches arguments as to why the law and order only works when it's somebody else, but law and order doesn't work in their case. So this is what I want you guys to do. This is your boy Collation Raw Perspective. Let's get rid of the Senate. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you, Ray.
The whole Senate?
Keep Trump. Get rid of the GOP Senate. Okay. That'll straighten things out. Keep Trump. Get rid of the Senate, and then what'll happen is they'll impeach his ass, and he'll be gone. The whole system is going to jail, and then he's going directly to jail. You can't.
Yeah, you're right. It's just gridlock. You know what I mean? I'm not so much. It's not about the GOP or the Democrats. It's really just gridlock. The whole system is broken. Donald Trump is a symptom of the problem. He's not the problem. He's a symptom. It's like when you have cancer and you get a wart that bubbles up. It's like that. He's the wart. He's not the cancer. The cancer is already here, and so getting rid of him is like cutting off the wart, right? You have to fix the cancer.
Anyway, Ray, I love Trump. Bye. Wait, listen, we can talk Trump all day. I got friends here. I got guests. Before we move forward, I would like to say, and you should tell me you're not talking, guys, because there's a lot of noise coming from you. Somebody's making a lot of noise.
I don't know. I'll try to mute. Tanya,
mute yourself when you're not speaking. That's all. Yeah, there you go. Tanya, what's going on in your house? What's going on? You always got technical stuff.
Nothing. Actually, it's complete silence where I am. That's what I don't.
Sound check, Ray. Turn your mic on. Turn your mic on, Ray. You're muted.
Sorry, I was asking if you had two devices, Tanya. It might be that might be it. As like a phone and a computer.
If you got two devices on, you gotta mute them. Anyway, let's get back to the point.
Yeah, got it.
All right, let's give the fans some good product. Okay, here's the deal. Ruth Bader Ginsberg, who passed away today. And listen, let me say this to you. She was a little, shout out to B.I.G., rest in peace. Yeah. RGB, a play on B.I.G., which is telling you how powerful hip hop is. But beyond that, let's just get past that. I want to say rest in peace to this lady. She had a very long, fruitful life. If I get that long, God give you, it's a blessing. And let me just give her props. And listen, I want to go to Tanya Hazelhurst Dawkins because I want you to tell these people who this woman was, Ruth Bader Ginsberg. You go ahead, Tanya. I'm going to mute my mic. You go ahead.
Oh, you're still muted, Tanya. You're still muted.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, Ruth, for those of you who do not know who she was, she served on the United States Supreme Court. She was a Supreme Court justice from, I'm going to give the correct dates, 1993 until death. This past, a week ago? On 2020. So, and she was a very powerful woman. She was a champion for women's rights and equity in our society. Those of you who don't know, a lot of people who are young people do not know that there are a lot of rights that women did not have in the past. This has been an evolving process for women to gain equity in this country, even to this day. It's still a continuous journey, struggle, and fight. So a couple of things I just want to mention that she did. So this is her legacy. She gained women the right to sign a mortgage without a man. Can you imagine there was a time when women could not do that? Also, the right for women to have a bank account without a male co-signer.
Wow.
That's real.
Wow.
That's real.
That's real. Also, the right
to 93 she was made from the Supreme Court. What year did she What year did she allow women to have a bank account? Like fight for that?
Oh my God. I am sorry. I have to look up that date.
Yeah, no worries. My mom, I know my mother complained about that. Like she could not buy a car like without my father's signature. Like she wanted to go buy a car for herself. She worked and she was a nurse and she wanted to go buy a car. And the guy was like, "You can't buy a car without your husband being here." And this was
that's crazy. That's just insane.
When was that?
This had to be in late 70s. This was late 70s. But yeah, just the thought that she wanted to go buy a car, and the guy was like, "No, you can't buy a car without a husband." And it was
let me just say this. This is the Raw Perspective. This is the Friday show. This is the Raw Perspective. Shout out to Egg Chop for Bean. Shout out to my girl, Tanya Hazelhurst Dawkins. And let me just say this to you guys. Fresh Start Focus in the building. TD Loving. Let's go. Let me just say this. This is why we have to coalesce as a people, because left up, and I don't want to be just all white men or whatever the case may be, but left up to their own devices, the ridiculous policies that they would put on us as a people would just happen. I mean, think about this. As a woman, you couldn't own a car. You couldn't put a car under your name. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
As a black man in 1964, you couldn't drink from a water fountain that didn't say colored water fountain. Or you couldn't sit at a restaurant to have the basic dignity of eating a sandwich and Woolworth counter. And when you did, they jumped on you and beat you up. Savage beat you up. This is what we're fighting against. Politics aside. And I'm not a Democrat. And you understand me? I'm a business owner. So I align with the economic Republican policies because they are all pro-business. But the human policies is what I'm down with.
Exactly.
I'm down with the human policies. Anyway, I just want to make sure she gets flowers. Go ahead, Tanya.
Yeah. So let's give Ruth her flowers tonight. So yes. She also gave women the right to have a job without being discriminated against based on gender. And I thank God for the work that she has done, because women, quite frankly, still it's not as overt, but it is still an issue of getting certain positions based on your gender, even though there are laws on the books that say it's not. You know how this goes.
Well, I think it's just a relationship with women. I think the problem is, and which we're going to segue into the next part of the show, it's just how there's a problem with men and women in society. And let me tell you something. Shout out to Kamala Harris. Shout out to all the strong women, because you guys are going to have to fix this thing for us. Because as men, we've been screwing this thing up. T, you got to mute when you're not speaking, okay? So keep your hand off on a mute, because you have a lot of noise in your background. I don't know where it's coming from, but we're going to have to work that out. That's okay. But let me just say this to you. Women are going to have to fix this. Women, you guys are more qualified. You're sharper. We're like blunt edges. I mean, like I say every time, we are your security guards. We are your shield, but you guys are the swords. So at the end of the day, men, we may have to take a back seat for a while, because we're screwing up the planet. We're digging all the oil out the planet. We're causing global warming. We're causing climate change. All the things. We've had our chance, and this is what we've done. But we've also advanced technology. We have done some great things as well. So that goes to the conversation about balance, right, Ray? We need balance. And in the spirit of balance, I want to talk about the relationship between men and women. And I got to guess.
No, before we go on, I still didn't finish with Ruth. I just want to mention 3 more things that she did, because it's important.
Okay.
Far she is for me to cut a woman off.
You see what women
do? Yeah. Let's go.
Just want to say, She fought for the right for women to be pregnant and have kids and still be able to work, equal pay for women, and women in the military.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, great woman. Great woman. Great legacy.
Nah, she's dope. And listen, man, it's all good. It's all good, man. This is the Boy Uncle's Raw Perspective, and we shouting out Ruth Ginsberg, man. She's dope. Dope. Really happy. That just goes to the point I'm making. We have to learn how to manage our relationships. And Russell Simmons said this about Dame Dash. Dame, I think, is a brilliant guy. First of all, is my boy. We argue like old grumpy men all the time. Why you wear that hat?
I can see that. I can totally see.
Shut up, man. Yeah.
Grumpy old men. That's your movie. A black grumpy old man with you and Dame starring.
Yeah.
That's
right.
the movie.
Why you acting so sis? Shut up, man. Anyway, so. But what Russell said, Russell Simmons, which is ironic because Russell had his issues as well, in this conversation, right? But Russell said we have to learn as men how to manage our relationships. Mm-hmm. So, I brought a pro on today. All right, TD? We brought us a pro. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to step back. Again, I'm going to step back. And like I said, the women have to take this thing over. Okay? Titty loving, Tanya, my sister. Yeah, I love you like cook food. You go ahead and you bring in our next guest. You go ahead.
Okay. I would like to introduce our next guest.
Make sure
her name is
Okay, hold on. You gotta do it. You gotta do the raw perspective. You can't just, hey TD, you gotta say, this is TD Loving from the raw perspective and Fresh Start Focus. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm sorry. Okay. Look, see that? You see? Just gotta make sure we plug it.
This is on the job training right here.
Yes.
Okay. This is Titty Loving from the Raw Perspective, and I would like to introduce our next guest, which is Nicole Renee Pryor. She is a life coach and a relationship expert. I can barely get the word out.
Yes.
And she happens to be my BFF.
Sister, hello.
Hey.
Yes.
Coach Nicole.
Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes, to be coached as well. Coachability is something that we all need to have because we all can learn things. And sometimes people, they have a problem with being coached, but I love getting instruction. I think it's important because I do realize that I can learn from people as much as they can teach me, and I can absorb it all. And something, I don't take everything. Things like I chew it up and then I absorb what I can absorb, and the rest I can't becomes waste. But I love to be a coach. So I want to thank you for coming out to the Raw Perspective today, Coach Nicole, because we're going to talk about relationships.
Excellent.
And we're going to talk about in our community first. Let's take care of home first. What happened? Why are we so messed up? The black man, black woman. What did we do? What happened?
Well, I think if you really go back to history and go back to slavery, you got to remember that, that broke down the black family. And so when you're talking about, our black men being lynched, our black men being sold, being snatched from the family unit, and then the mother is left to raise, to gear, to nurture. And so sometimes with women, we can be overprotectors. So instead of teaching them how to be a man, we're protecting them. We're kind of cuddling them, and they're not able to really thrive and to become that man that they need to be. And so you get a lot of men that have grown up dealing with insecurities, dealing with childhood wounds, and not really dealing with it, suppressing their issue and not facing it. And when you don't address your mess, that becomes a problem.
That's interesting that you say that, because I do believe what we're dealing with in our today. I think this is all a byproduct of how the black man was emasculated in the home and taken from, I know this is your first time on the Raw Perspective, but we've done extensive shows on the history of slavery in America and things like that. And we've talked about even horrible subjects of when overseers would come into the black man's quarters, where he would be with his wife in the quarters. They were both slaves in the quarters, and then the overseer or the master would take his woman while they were both in bed. This is the horror of our situation that we still have not, that we have yet to overcome. And I do believe that today is a byproduct of those things. But now we're in a situation where the sisters are flourishing. You guys are flourishing now. So we need you now, because you guys are flourishing. It's your chance. What are you going to do now? This is your chance to take lead. What are you going to do now?
Well, the truth of the matter is, if you really want to look at it from even a spiritual content, the man is really set to be the head. We're the neck. Okay. And so we can direct the direction of where you go, but they should still be the head. What has happened is a lot of men have, instead of graduating from high school and going straight to college, they needed to make money. So then you got, now these sisters have gone straight to college. They've gotten their education, they've gotten their financial situation together, and they're thriving. So now you have a percentage of more women graduating with a college degree and being placed in positions to be able to excel, while the men, some of them had to skip that and go straight to work. And so there becomes that financial breakdown. And then sometimes when you give money, with money comes power. And you have some sisters that have gotten it, and I not to take anything away from them, but they become more career driven. And so that's another thing that kind of breaks down the aspect of the family, because now you don't see that many people getting married in the Black community. There's a breakdown there. They're more career driven. They're not more family driven. And, and then some of these women, they have a long laundry list because now they're in a place to excel, and they have this long list, but what they're requesting, they're actually not bringing to the table, because it's more than just being the provider. It's more than having your own home. It's more than having transportation. You need to come with substance, Right. And so a lot of these women, they think because they have their home, because they have their car, because they have good money, that's all that they need to have, and that's all that they're requesting. But it's more that is required at the table. And you can't limit that with just those three perspectives.
So I don't know if you are familiar with New York. I don't know if you live in New York. Coach
I
Nicole,
used to live in Brooklyn many years ago.
Brooklyn, okay, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn myself. But let me just say this to you: there's a restaurant in Lower East Side before COVID, very popular restaurant, Jamaican restaurant called The Grill. Mm-hmm. So The Grill, I would go to The Grill. And I would go there, with a buddy of mine, and we would sit down, and whatever business meeting I would have, I would use the grill because I knew the owner from Jamaica from years ago in another life. And I would see, literally, you won't believe this, I would sit at the bar because I would eat at the bar, and I would sit. It would be two guys, my buddy and I, and we'll be sitting there talking, and it would be literally, the bar would be full of young women from the ages, maybe, post 30 young women, single, and with a look on their face like, listen, they were successful. They had that image, and I would get into conversations. I say, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And they all would, the majority would say, I don't need a man. I got my own money. I can do my own thing, but I'm lonely. You know what I'm saying? And I find that in the entertainment business, I find that a lot of sisters that are very powerful in the entertainment business, I find that there too, where they're powerful in their business, but they can't find a man. Some sisters will go over and they're married white guys or get guys in life, but some sisters like, look, man, I feel comfortable. I can't find that partner in my life that I need, which is that brother, that king I need in my house. So TD, I need you to jump in here because this is something that I may not be equipped to answer. I need answers from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I want to speak from this energetically. You guys can hear? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, energetically.
We hear you.
There is male and female. There's yin and yang. You talked about balance earlier. You have to have balance.
Mm-hmm.
A woman who is in a position of power, whether it be in the entertainment industry or corporate America, you have to bring some kind of male energy in order to get that job accomplished. That is the truth. And as a woman, if you do not know how to turn off that male energy in your personal life, it is going to be very difficult for you to be with a man. A man wants to be with a woman. He doesn't want to be with a man.
Correct.
So if you come with all this male energy, it is going to deflect a man from you as a female, unless you learn how to turn off the male energy and turn on your feminine prowess and your feminine energy in order to draw that man into you.
Now we're getting complicated, T. And man, I gotta keep this as simple as possible. How do we understand that issue? Because what we want to be treated as kings, we want to be loved, we want to be, we want our, things that we understand in life. I'm not, and I'm going to keep this as simple to man and women because in 2020 we have to be respectful of all of the other gender variations that are out there as well.
But think about it, Laze. Even in a same-sex relationship, if you look at most same-sex relationships, someone has feminine energy and someone has masculine energy. I very rarely have ever run into a same-sex couple where the two men are masculine and the two women are feminine. I haven't seen it yet. Because,
I think that's an entirely different show. But let me just say,
but if I can
that's a very interesting show. Ray, go ahead, Ray.
I'm gonna give y'all some game real quick. It's television, right? There was a whole thing about like the man being kind of a bumbling, can't get it right, can't do anything. That was supposed to be a joke. Because in the 50s, when television first came around, the man was very strong. The man worked. The man did everything. The woman stayed in the home and took care of the family and the kids and made sure that was right. But when the man said, "This is what we're going to do," that's what we were going to do. So television in the 50s said, "You know what would be funny? If we had a man come into the house and he didn't know what was supposed to happen. If he was a bumbling idiot," right? And that became the model. Even on the Bill Cosby show, right? Felicia Rashad ran that house, right? Bill Cosby was a doctor. He was very well to do, but Felicia ran the house. And so it was funny when she did that. And so what happened is our generation was raised on television. And so that was what we patterned. And so men who grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s became patterned with this, the man of the house is not the man of the house. The woman really runs the house. And I think that is what, to your point, threw off our energy is what we pattern. So that's my 2 cents. That's what happened.
I want to say this to you guys. You guys know that I travel the world.
Yes.
And I spend a lot of time all over the world, Africa, Europe, Asia, everything. I do find that in Africa, the women really run shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. They run. They're aggressive. It's almost literally like the way the lions run the pride, and they rule as a village, and then the men comes in and He does what he has to do, but his job is to die for his clan. Like my job, I believe, is to die for my family. I think we're off kilter here. Let me refocus this conversation. I think in America, in the Black community, we're off kilter. I hear too many women going, "I don't need no man. I'm gonna raise my son by myself," not realizing that she's not equipped to raise her son by herself. I'm gonna go to Coach Nicole. How do you feel about that train of thought?
Well, first of all, let's go back a little bit when we're talking about the women. You got to realize there are a lot of people walking around here with masks on. They're not being their true self. They're not walking in their truth. They're walking around being the representative. A lot of these women are influenced by social media just as well as the men. They're influenced by television. And the truth of the matter is, if you take away the facade, a lot of them don't know who they are. They look at themselves in the mirror every day, but they don't know who they are. And the truth of the matter is, when we talk about the word love, if you can't embrace and love who you are, there's no way that you'll know how to love anybody else. I tell people all the time, when a man tells you he loves you, you need to ask him, do you love yourself? Because if he's walking around with insecurities and haven't dealt with the inner hurts and wounds inside of him, he will self-sabotage that relationship. And if you don't know who you are, he will be in a position to really, destroy your self-esteem. So it's important that we really deal with ourselves. And I don't think a lot of people have done that. They're walking around here superficial. Oh, I'm successful. I'm doing this. But do you know who you are? Are you in touch with the inner you? Have you peeled back all the layers and got to the core? And I think that when we deal with that and really see ourselves for what we are and really address those issues that we have, and we can fall in love with ourselves, then we will be able to fall in love with one another. I tell people all the time, there's a difference between love.
I want to say this to you. But I want to say something. First of all, T, I'm going to need you.
There's a difference between love and lust. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. A.R. Bernard out of Brooklyn, but this is one of his principles. Yes, and he said to love is to benefit others at the expense of self, but to lust is to benefit self at the expense of others. And so a lot of people are walking around here thinking that it's love when it's lust. And so you got to be able to determine, are we talking about love here or are we talking about lust? And then we have to deal with ourselves and take off the mask.
Humility, and accountability. How does that fit in the relationship?
Well, the thing is that if you are walking in your truth, you got to be accountable.
Right.
You have to be accountable because then you're not being true to who you are. Right. I think it's important that people are walking in authenticity. I think it's important that people are walking in integrity, and you should always be humble. And the thing is that when you love yourself, that's a sense of self-confidence. That's not arrogance. And so you got to know the difference, because I think some people take it a bit further. But there's nothing wrong with embracing who you are and being proud of who you are. But when you get to the level of being arrogant, you're going somewhere else. So being humble and having humility and being accountable is key. I mean, I to call yourself a woman and call yourself a man, the true definition of that, and you can't be accountable, there's something to question.
But let me just deal with the sliding scale that we have here in society.
Okay.
We're not dealing with all things equal. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 in African American society, because systematically the African American man has been beaten down to a point where everything we're doing now is to really just to come up even, because we've always been dealing with a deficit. You understand? And so now, as we're dealing with our women from that point of a deficit, to where even our women are turning on us as a society, to where they've almost left us, because a lot of us are in jail, a lot of us are underachievers, a lot of not utilizing all of the intelligence that we have, because we're dealing with the systematic problem, to a point where now what we teach our sons is when the police pull you over, keep your hands on the steering wheel. Do you understand? This is a reality of the African American man, because if they could kill us and no one's going to come to our aid. Because when George Floyd died, you know what? A week and a half, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, the police officer, his default position was to shoot Jacob Blake in the back 7 times. That was his default position. That's the default. The default position is to kill a black man. You know what I'm saying? So now we are dealing with that drama in our lives, and now we have to deal with our women from a position of weakness. So that even when they kill our women, there is not a multitude of black men storming City Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, saying that if you motherfuckers don't do something right now, it's going to be a war right here. Okay? So how do we get out of that, and how do we save our women? I'll leave that to you, Coach.
Well, first of all, we've lost our men to incarceration. We lost our men in the streets of crime. And we as women, that's one of the breakdowns of why so many women are single too, if we add that to the equation. And then let's add COVID, because our people have been affected dramatically in reference to that. So now we have that another level that has sat on top of that. But the truth of the matter is, I tell people all the time, I know sometimes we tend to want to rely on others to pour into us. And we want to rely on others to kind of help us up by our bootstraps. But it has to come to a time that as our men, we need to stick together. I think our Black community, we don't stick together the way, if you look at the Hispanic community, they stick together better than we do. Yeah. Instead of us helping one another to build together, we want to get there before the other one. And, and that's not the way it should be. If any race of people should be together and stick together and support one another, should be our race. We should be out there really supporting one another, building businesses with one another, just being a support system. But there's so much jealousy, there's so much bitterness, there's so much resentment. Where's the love? Where is the love?
Interesting.
Which should be the foundation of all of this. Love should be the foundation.
Yes. Well, we got to go to the line, because what's happening in relationships that we have in Black African American relationships. First of all, divorce is huge.
It is
part of America, and even bigger in the African American community. People, it's to the point where a lot of divorces don't happen because people just can't afford to live separately. Because it's like, look, I can't afford to pay for 2 houses. You know what I'm saying? So at the end, they're like, you're going to take half of his $30,000 a year. That's not a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we're in a situation where we are trying to make relationships work in our community. The problem is, I think there's a little bit of resentment that women are having towards African American men, and we got to find out a way. And this is my opinion. We got to find out a way for women to look past that and be like, I don't care. That's my man. That's my Black man, and I'm going to strengthen him, because his job is to protect me, and by me strengthening him, his son can emulate the strength that I put into him, while he then strengthens her, which is, I think, also because we're not innocent either. I mean, Black men, we browbeat our women, we're aggressive, we're overbearing, we're super jealous. So all those things that we are as Black men has to be counted for too. And we have to be accountable for ourselves as well. I think we're not free of blame in this problem, but I just need Coach Nicole to sort of give us some sort of guideline, some sort of path game to how we can communicate together as a community and strengthen the Black family, which is what I think is the key to the strength of the Black people.
Well, I think in reference to the fact that women are very emotional, and I think a lot of women, as I've coached, they don't feel the support a lot of times from their men. They feel as though, because we're so used to being everything to everybody, And I think that some men have gotten used to it, and they don't realize our contribution to the home. You know, we are the chefs, we are the nurse, we're the daycare, we're the health provider, we're the cleaning crew. You know, there's so many things that we're bringing to the table. And I think a lot of times women are feeling like we don't have the support. It's not appreciated. And I think that men need to kind of really sit back and look at all that young woman is bringing to the table for the family, for you, and appreciate her. You know, just even say, baby, I thank you for all that you do. You'd be amazed on something that small, how far it can go. You know, but the sign of appreciation, the level of respect, the level of honor that a man can give to his woman, do you know how far that goes? But you get men that are insecure and they use their tongue to break down the woman when they're dealing with their own insecurities instead of being real with themselves and walking in their truth and being vulnerable.
I have to plead guilty. I have to say that there were times in my life, you know, as I've gotten older, I've become more secure as a man. I've become more solid in my ways, but I have to plead guilty. I have to say that I was angry at some point, and sometimes the women in my life I didn't trust, or for whatever reason, or I may have been jealous, or whatever the case may be, and I may have used that anger towards her, what I believe sometimes to be infidelity, or what I believe to be sometimes just not supporting me. So I mean, at the end of the day, we have to, which goes back to my conversation about humility and accountability. We have to be accountable for what we do wrong in relationships, because you cannot. But it has to be an honest, two-way accountable street, I believe. I think
it is.
Yeah,
absolutely. It is not all on the women and all on the man. It's both sides. It is both sides.
Wow, this is such an amazing conversation. First of all, let me just say this to you. Yeah, and Africa, and what we need as Black people, especially for our women, we need to support them. And we need to fight for them. And in essence, sometimes we may have to die for them, because at the end of the day, you are Mother Earth. You, Nicole, Tanya, you have the Eve gene. You are right, exactly. You're Lucy. You are the people who are the sole generators of the planet Earth. So it's important that we have to, I mean, it's more important than getting pulled over by a police officer or a knee on the neck, because our job is to sacrifice ourselves for you, because you are the keepers of our people, you know, but I do believe you gotta, and I'm gonna speak like I'm talking as a guy. So this is like I'm in a relationship with you and we're talking. You gotta have patience with us. You got to be patient, because we don't understand everything, and we've been fighting a hard fight. We go outside, we get on elevators, the clutch. I'm a 54-year-old business owner, raised my family, 2 generations of family, and successful. And when I get on elevators, women, I can't get a cab. Remember we had cab? Thank God they had Uber. I couldn't get a cab in New York City. When the police pulls me over, he has his gun out. I walk into Dunkin' Donuts for a coffee. A cop's there. He turns around and puts his hand on his gun. This happened not even 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's real.
You know, so this is what we deal with. I talk to some of my white friends who are good friends of mine, and what they say is they've never experienced that.
It's a daily fight for the Black man. I get it.
It is.
It's a daily fight for the Black man. And that's why it's imperative as women. I know for me, it's imperative that our women keep our men in prayer, that we keep them covered, that we support them, that we encourage them, that we help build them up. But that should be both ways.
Yes.
It's got to be both ways. And before we move forward, I want to pause for 1 second and shout out. It's your boy Uncle Laze in the Raw Perspective. Shout out to my OSG crew. Shout out to my MOP First Family. I want to shout out the StreamYard people, Dennis McKeezy, Fox, Boogie Brown, sister, I love you. Smitty, I love you, Smitty. Shout out to Gooch Elliott, love you. Yes. Let's go to Facebook. And shout out to Toby Hicks, who's in love with TD.
Nice.
Toby. And listen, you guys can get us on YouTube as well. So we're on the Raw Perspective on Facebook and we're on YouTube. Shout out to my morning yawnings. Lori, I see you in there. I see everybody. Everybody's there, man. Too many names to mention. I want to thank everybody. Make sure on Monday you watch the next episode of Ask Dr. Riley. Now, first of all, let me just promote that for a second. It was a great episode on the first one with the Coochie Coach, and the second one with Dr. Karen Hunter. But oh my God, wait till you see this next episode. And after that, we just go crazy and tissue and protests and everything else that we got going on. Shout out to Dr. Chris Pinnell, Dame Dash, and everybody. But let's get back to what we were saying. I really want to thank you, Coach Nicole Renee Pryor.
Oh, thanks for having me.
How can we find you?
I am on Instagram and I am Nicole Renee Pryor. I'm in Facebook at Nicole Renee Pryor, and I'm also on YouTube at Coach Nicole Renee.
Coach Nicole Renee, and this isn't the last time because obviously we have so many things going on. I would love for you to get involved with the OSG. I would love for you to get involved with everything that we're doing. Our coalition is all about empowering our people, and you definitely fit right into what we got going on. So please, man, make yourself available if you can to be a part of what we do. I appreciate you spending your time with us. Brothers and sisters, we got to get it together. We got to show each other love. We got to be accountable.
That's real.
I think the key to healing is accountability. I think that as we fight these fights, we are more powerful together than separate. The words of "I got my own money and I don't need no man," those days are over. Yes, you do, sister.
You need a man.
And we need you too, sister.
Yes.
We need you. Okay? And you need us. And I know you feel you can raise them boys on your own, but you can't. He needs his daddy. Just like he needs his mama, because his mama teaches him compassion and daddy what teaches him when to let go. Very powerful. Just a simple issue of, hey boy, leave that alone. Get up. Don't worry about it. You'll be all right. There's certain things that a father can do to a son that a mother doesn't have the tools for, and certain things that a mother can do for a son that a father just has no idea. And we will never understand. It's why we speak. God is so great that he teaches us these two separate languages that intermingle with each other, which is why there is perfection, which is why we don't procreate by ourselves. We need the energy of the two, the energy of the village, the energy of the nation. And that's my perspective. It's your boy Uncle Laze from the Raw Perspective. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Hey, Ray, you want to add something before you go?
Man, I tell you what, this was, I hope I'm not on mute, but this was a great session. Nicole, I really appreciate you and what you brought to the table. I think that what you're saying is absolutely spot on, about, just about the family and the importance of getting together, forgiveness, of working together to build something. So I really appreciate this. And Laze, I appreciate, you bringing this together, and TD, introducing us to this fount of wisdom is amazing. So thank all of you for this night. I've been blessed, and I look forward to more conversations.
Thank you guys so much. It was an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. You're the man, Ray. This was a great show. TD Loving, my sister, whom I love. You know this. Talk to me. What we doing? Tell me about this. Give me some last words of loving wisdom that you always give me. You give it to me on the phone. Say, brother, be patient. You're good. Make sure you pray. But give the people something new.
No, I just want to say as a Black woman, and I could say this for Nicole, we love Black men. We honor Black men. We cherish Black men. We actually want to see Black men win, because when you guys win, we win, because we are a unit and we need each other desperately, desperately. And, you know, that's my prayer for the Black community, that Black men and women will come together as one and love one another and support one another and build each other up. And one love.
You know, TD, and let me just say this to you guys. Man, Facebook is going crazy right now, though. I mean, I can't even show you what's. Look at this. It's going crazy. Facebook is going crazy. Coach Nicole, they're all talking about how much of a hit she was. Toby is faded again. Liz Rivera Taylor, love you. Thank you for showing us love on the Raw Perspective. Shout out to John. Shout out to my whole crew. All the people that are sharing it, showing us love. It's crazy. We're having a great time. Toby, I see you. This is Toby. Stop. Toby, stop. Okay, this is a married woman. This. She's so mad. TD got crazy. Hey, Coach, the boy, they go crazy over TD over there. Huh? Yes, love is all we need. And I want to thank everybody. Easy Breezy McKeezy, Fox, Smitty, my main man. Thank you, StreamYard. Again, this is a great show. You guys enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend. Coach, please don't be lost.
I won't be. Thank you.
Yes, I connected with you on IG, so follow back. So let's keep the conversation going.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So, and this is this week's birthday. Make sure you come see me on Sunday. Well, no, not this Sunday. I've been slacking on the Sunday inspirationals, but I'm going to come back the week after next Sunday morning. I'm going to do Sunday inspirations right before Pastor Rio Colon. And please, Coach, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but please follow the Raw Perspective if you can on Facebook, or follow Laze. Just follow Laze Elliott on Facebook, and all kinds of craziness happens. Just you know, I don't know what mood I'm going to be in when I start doing stuff. You know, so you just gotta just pay attention. You know, but out of all of the foolishness, there is some good information that you get out of it. So please follow it. And I'm a man. I am a man of service, and I am about my people. I am all about my people, and I am cold blooded when I speak my truth. I have no shame. And shut positive, K. Paz, I see you, Paz. Come on, listen, Paz. We're gonna do a show with you, Paz. I see. Paz, that's my brother. I can't help it. Tanya's words, you inspired Toby, guys. The Facebook is blowing up. It's crazy. What's going on over here? Oh man, they're loving you, T. They're loving you, T. Shout out to my sister Maria Davis, and she's another soldier in the struggle. And also Dr. Riley, she's incredible. So Ray, what are you doing this week, man? What's up, man? Are you good?
Oh, coming up this week?
Yeah.
Just working, man. Just grinding, man.
By the way, Ray's an author. I want you to promote.
Yeah, with his book, getting clients. You know, I'm a coach, you know, as well. So yeah, doing all that. Yeah. You know, trying to grow my business, get clients, you know, get speaking engagements, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm working on every day.
That's great.
Very awesome. Sure. So thank you guys. That's it for us. This is the Raw Perspective. TD Loving for Ray Abram and Coach Nicole A. Prayer. I want to thank you guys and shout out to my OSG family. Please follow us at OSG, the official OSG on IG. Also Dame Dash and Dame Dash Studios. Make sure you subscribe to Dame Dash Studios. And this is another amazing show. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you guys next week. Much love. This is your boy from Laze.
Have a good one.
Good night.